What if the doll you once cherished wasn't just a childhood keepsake, but a doorway to something far darker? Emma Harper was 6 years old the first time she met Clara. The doll wasn't hers. It belonged to her grandmother, who kept it locked in a glass case in the sitting room of her old Victorian house in Somerset. "She's special," her grandmother always said with a peculiar smile. But Emma had always found Clara unsettling. The doll had blue glass eyes that seemed too lifelike, golden curls that framed her delicate porcelain face, and a lace-trimmed dress too pristine for something so old. Whenever Emma looked at Clara, she felt the weight of those eyes, as if the doll was studying her. Years passed and Emma grew up, leaving Clara and her childhood behind. She forgot about the doll entirely, until her grandmother passed away. Emma inherited the house and, along with it, the eerie contents of the sitting room. She'd tried to sell the collection, but when it came to Clara, every prospective buyer backed out. "Bad energy," one woman said before fleeing the house. Emma didn't believe in curses or spirits, but Clara was unnerving enough that she stuffed the doll in the attic and forgot about her. Until the storm. The storm raged all night, battering the old house with howling winds and pelting rain. Emma, now 29 and living alone, had fallen asleep on the couch when a loud crash from upstairs jolted her awake. Grabbing a flashlight, she ventured into the attic. Boxes were toppled over, their contents spilled onto the floor, but in the center of the chaos sat Clara. The doll was upright, its dress immaculate despite the dust and grime surrounding it. Emma's breath hitched. "What the hell?" she muttered, shivering as a draft brushed her neck. She could have sworn she'd packed Clara deep in a box. But the doll stared back, silent and still. Shrugging off her unease, she carried Clara downstairs, intending to find a new place to store her. That night, as she tried to sleep, a faint whispering sound drifted through the house. "Emma!" Her eyes snapped open, her heart hammering. The sound was so soft it could have been the wind, or her imagination. She dismissed it and forced herself back to sleep. The next morning, Clara was no longer in the box. Emma found her sitting on the kitchen counter, her head tilted slightly to the side. Emma stared, chills prickling her skin. "I didn't put you there," she whispered, backing away. The strange occurrences grew worse. Objects in the house moved on their own. Books fell from shelves, cabinet doors creaked open, and lights flickered without reason. Every time Emma tried to ignore it, Clara seemed to appear somewhere new, perched on her desk, seated at the dining table, or lying at the foot of her bed. One night, Emma woke to the sound of giggling. It wasn't her laugh. She froze, gripping the sheets tightly, as the giggles turned into soft whispers. "Emma, come play." The voice was faint, but unmistakable. Trembling, she reached for her phone, its screen casting a pale glow in the dark room. When she turned on the flashlight, her stomach dropped. Clara was sitting on her bedside table. Emma screamed and threw the doll into the closet, slamming the door shut. But even then she could hear the faintest giggle, muffled yet chilling. Desperate for answers, Emma visited a local historian who specialized in antiques. When she showed him a photo of Clara, his face paled. "Where did you get this?" he asked, his voice tense. Emma explained the doll's history, leaving out the strange occurrences for fear of sounding crazy. This doll belonged to Lillian Carlisle, the historian said. She was a little girl in the 1890s who went missing. Her parents claimed she was abducted, but locals believed she died in a fire that consumed the Carlisle estate. The doll was the only thing recovered. He paused, his expression darkening. There are stories about Lillian's spirit being trapped in that doll. They say she seeks revenge, wanting someone to play with her forever. Emma's stomach churned. "That's ridiculous," she said, though her trembling hands betrayed her disbelief. The activity in the house escalated. Emma tried locking Clara in a trunk, burying her in the garden, even leaving her at a donation center miles away. But the doll always came back, more malicious than before. Doors slammed shut on their own. Dark, humanoid shadows slithered along the walls. At night, Emma could feel icy hands brushing her hair as she lay in bed, paralyzed with fear. The dreams began soon after. In them, a little girl with hollow eyes and charred skin stood at the foot of her bed, holding Clara. "Play with me," the girl whispered, her voice distorted and echoing. Emma woke, screaming, sweat dripping down her face. She couldn't live like this anymore. Emma contacted a medium who specialized in removing curses. The woman walked into the house and immediately froze. "This isn't just a curse," she said, her voice trembling. "The doll is a vessel, and whatever's inside it is angry." The medium performed a ritual, surrounding Clara with candles and chanting incantations. For a moment it seemed to work. The room grew heavy, the air crackling with energy. But then the candles blew out, and the room plunged into darkness. A guttural laugh echoed through the house, and Clara's glass eyes began to glow faintly. The medium screamed as an unseen force flung her across the room. "You can't get rid of me!" a voice shrieked, filling the house. Emma grabbed the doll and ran outside, tears streaming down her face. She doused Clara in gasoline and lit a match. The flames roared unnaturally high, turning green as they consumed the doll. But when the fire died down, Clara was untouched. The doll sat in the ashes, her dress immaculate, her eyes gleaming with triumph. Emma disappeared a week later. Her neighbors reported hearing strange noises coming from the house, but when authorities entered, they found it empty. The only sign of life was Clara, sitting on the mantel, her glass eyes staring forward, as if waiting for someone new. Would you dare keep a doll like Clara in your home? Do you believe in cursed objects? Share your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe to my channel for more spine-chilling tales and paranormal investigations. Hit the bell icon to stay updated. You never know when a new nightmare might strike.